Navigating, distributing time and energy. Papa Gillespie, soulmates, critters, and me. Today is Sunday, 21 June 2026, and here I, Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, ruminate about navigating, distributing time and energy between my Papa Gillespie, soulmates, critters, and myself. So this is one that I thought was very, in the spirit of it being Father's Day, and me possibly being adopted. If I was adopted, I was like, you know, it'd be good for me to broach the, and how am I gonna do time and energy getting to know my birth father, and work through the grief associated with my mama being dead and me not having any siblings, because that's not how I was raised. Me adjusting to be a first and only born, you know, stuff like that. So I'll intend to at least link in the video description to a video. I've talked about work-life balance before and how I've incorporated the squirrels into that. And so this is ruminating, very emphasis on ruminating about navigating time, distributing time and energy between me, those cutie critters, my soulmates, and my Papa Gillespie. So I think perhaps I should start with my Papa Gillespie goes, you're grounded and I'm living with you, with your soulmates. Okay. So that would be, and you're not allowed to work all the time. And I'm not allowed to work all the time, and I can be a workaholic. And then I go, okay, well, I do cardiology self-experimentation. So the nature of it is I do need alone time, and I need, depending on how grueling and exacting and difficult the self-experimentation is, how tuned in I need to be, how many other, or the cardiology, so cardiology study of the heart and the corresponding blood system for what I do. Sometimes the heart is part of a body. It's one organ. There are more organs, there are more parts to a body. So, you know, if I'm doing something and it affects something else in my system, then I get to, you know, be like, and what am I looking up in the home medical book today as to why, you know, my nervous system might feel a little funky, you know, something like that. Or I had a really good bowel movement, and I don't always want to read up on bad things. So, you know, stuff like that. A little bit of balance, but also like different parts of my body might synchronize with my heart. So just because I'm working on one thing, the physiology component of that can be tied to other systems in the body as well. So that particular aspect, and then my YouTube stuff, I would say maybe kind of finding an activity that we could do together so like we're living together on a daily basis. I think one of the things I found out to enjoy the absolute most when I was living in California, Albany, California, in the 2010s decade, was dinner solo. I really enjoyed that. I'm more of a, I think I kind of liked talking to people during the day more. So it'd be kind of fun to do something like that, or like an early morning movie one day of the week. That's just, my preferences don't necessarily align with like the standard out and about busy time slots of recent / my lifetime thus far. I was born approximately 1993. So finding time, also being like with the critters. So this is a great one for the critters, is let's say, and my soulmates and my Papa Gillespie, so all of us, is being like distributing of tasks, who gets what each day, but then also being like cognizant of who's doing what, and being like, do you want to be included? Yeah, or do I want to, you know, go with so-and-so when they do blank, when they work on the barn, you know, scoop the deer poop, scoop the bunny poops, you know, put in a new batch of hay, give Cobb God, you know, a special little bowl of corn kernels, because he really loves those corn kernels. And with Ponderosa, maybe he wants a bowl of pecans, and maybe Stubbsy wants a really small little car that you can push around, you know, stuff like that. So I guess there's the routine and incorporating each other into the routine, but not overly so. So not letting it, like, if there's a flare-up, preserving that it's a flare-up and what was needed to get through whatever it was. So there's that. And then, so the routine, and then the non-routine of, like, not being afraid to ask, but also being, like, I guess, learning to be considerate of each other and learning each other's mannerisms enough to know, like, when to ask or not to ask, or push ourselves to ask, that kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, and he says if I'm Tanis Presley already from my Elvis Presley, that I'm grounded and I have to, and I'm not allowed to change. I can get married as many times as I want, be it to, you know, my Josh Kerr, my Jacob Elordi, especially if we're living with my Josh Kerr. You know, what about this guy, Tanis? Why not him first? This handsome Scottish hamster that I get to share a bunk bed with, you know? My Josh Kerr, my Jacob Elordi, my Elvis Presley, my Lewis Hamilton. Okay, what about Lewis Hamilton, especially if he's living with us? Did I say Elvis Presley? I think I did. Look at that. You could marry them all. You're not taking anybody's name until you can explain to me, and you justify to me in terms of your own cardiology, self-experimentation, surname, Presley, okay, and Gillespie, which I already brought up earlier today. So he's loving Papa. He's my Papa. So my Papa Craig is saying, welcome to falling in love with a Native American. She, me, is just like her mother. I'm a Euro Native American. Okay. Native American through my mom for this particular situation. If it, you know, like, because if I'm adopted, then it's a real thing, and I'm just learning. Yeah. Okay. So love of a Romeo spirit runs in my veins. Something my Papa Craig couldn't quite cut out after he adopted me away, even if he tried. My Jacob Elordi tells me not to worry. It'll be him who I find when I get back from that walk run. So if I go out on a walk run and I find my Jacob Elordi has done something to himself in his life, a status might be in the question. Would it be the most impactful attempt of that nature from any of my soulmates? Possibly, if it's the first time I get to be a doctor, serving a doctor role in a survival, life, death, survival situation. All right, and then a few related firsts. Kona Dog arriving where I currently live on 20 October 2021, and my video of his arrival marked my first time video documenting the arrival of a male I subsequently lived in the same house with, starting the same day as his arrival. And then a zoomed in one. Kona Dog arriving where I currently live on Wednesday, 20 October 2021, and my video of his arrival marked my first time video documenting the arrival of a male I subsequently lived in the same house with, starting the same day as his arrival, for which video documentation was published publicly before the end of the corresponding calendar year. So that video I took on 20 October 2021, I published on Wednesday, so 17 November 2021 via platform YouTube. So YouTube did the publishing final step. I took it all the way through. Okay. But they're the publisher, not me. I published through, so technically they published. Okay. All right, and then the last one is my first time video documenting a soulmate of mine in physical proximity to me, same level, was my Jared in frame together, including faces, in a video I published publicly on YouTube in 2025/2026. So if some of you are waiting for, like, my Josh to show up and him and I have our face in our video, that's not the first time I've done that with a soulmate on this channel. That's already been done. All right, by one of my Jareds. And I. So navigating, distributing time and energy, Papa Gillespie, soulmates, critters, and me.